Welcome to the Mixed Race Belonging podcast, where we explore the intersection of mixed identity and belonging through the lens of somatics and personal and collective liberation to help you heal your belonging wounds and build relationships where you can show up as your full-ass self. I'm your host, Raina LaGrand, an embodiment coach for mixed race people with a background as a trauma therapist, yoga teacher, and health educator. The tools and insights I share with you here are the approach that has not only helped me heal my belonging wound, but also helped me help my mixed race clients do the same. We all need something good to belong to right now. Relationships and spaces where we feel safe, held, seen, heard, and dignified. Thanks for being here, and let's get started with today's show. Hello. I don't think I've done intro music the last few podcasts. Come be the man I need. That's the song that's stuck in all of our heads right now, right? Sorry if I just put it right back in your head. I know for me, I have been actually struggling to fall asleep at night because Olivia Dean lives rent-free in my head. So I'm sorry if I just did that to you again, but also not, because the song is so good. She's so good. She's also mixed. Shout out to the mixed artists out there. Yes. So today on the podcast, we are going to be talking about a question I got recently. It's a really good question. And the question is, should I stay friends with someone who doesn't understand my identity? And actually, I got another similar question in my Belonging Building Blocks course that was more along the lines of, what do we do with these people in our lives who we're close to, who aren't really respecting who we are, who don't really see us in our entirety? So I want to start out by just saying, you don't owe anyone anything if they are disrespectful to you, other than dignity, right? You don't have to put them down in response, but you don't have to stay friends with someone. You don't have to stay in touch with a family member, even a parent, if it feels like I am really just not respected in this relationship. I know some of my clients, the best thing they have done is to distance themselves from their parents. And I know that's a really hard choice to make. And I know because of that, because of the family relationship, or maybe it's that you've been friends with someone for a long time, there might be a lot of reasons why you do want to stay in relationship with someone. Maybe your relationship with them is an access point into community in some way. So it's complicated. And I think the first thing to really know is, and to really, I guess, be with, is that not knowing exactly what to do is an okay place to be. It can feel like I have to make a decision right now about whether I'm going to stay friends with this person or what I'm going to do about my mom or whatever. And I get that. But I find that sometimes if we are able to let go of the urgency, that we can find a little bit of peace if we learn how to sit in the ambiguity and the not knowing, if we get okay with that. It is okay to be in a liminal space in a relationship. You don't have to decide, yes, no, I'm in, I'm out. Maybe it's taking it interaction by interaction. Maybe it's, I will engage with this person on days when I feel more rested and more available for whatever happens. And maybe there are times when my body, my mind aren't going to feel as capable of showing up in a way where I can maintain my own dignity and respect someone else's dignity. So, and this I think goes back to what I talk about a lot on the podcast, which is self-trust. Trusting yourself to be with that ambiguity and that not knowing. Trusting yourself to navigate the emotions, the sensations, the thoughts, the feedback that you might get when you are in that not knowing. And I know that's a lot. I just want to extend a big hug to those of you who are in that space, especially in those family relationships where it just like cuts a lot deeper. Yeah. I also think another thing that comes up here, and this isn't true for everybody, but for some people, I wonder if you have given that person a chance to actually be in relationship with you, to actually know what it's like when they say, oh, you're not really Mexican because you don't speak Spanish, or, you're an Oreo, or if they talk shit about, Black folks, and meanwhile you're right there, Black person yourself, mixed race, Black person. The belonging wound can make us really conflict avoidant, which makes sense because a lot of times we're just trying to survive. As kids, we had to just survive. We had to be in places and relationships that weren't necessarily the best for us, but we didn't have a choice. As adults, we're just trying to survive the day, trying to survive capitalism, trying to survive that backache you have, So I totally get why it might be easier to just be quiet and to not confront someone who is saying or doing something that is hurtful to you. But this is also how we really develop intimacy and longevity in our relationships, is to move through conflict. And in doing so, to let ourselves really be seen and heard, or at least give the other person an opportunity for that. So I want to talk about a framework that a lot of my clients have found really helpful around this, and you can see if this feels helpful for you. So there's a lot of talk about boundaries in pop psychology, which is great, but I think that it's often a very like rigid take on boundaries. And I think that actually this conversation about boundaries that people are having in pop psychology is often actually an ultimatum and or focused on controlling the other person. And we can't control other people. And there's a lot of grief there that no matter what we do, no matter if we try to move through conflict with someone, they might not move through it with us. They might not meet us halfway. So there's always, always, always some grief that can come up with this and can come up with having boundaries. So here's, I think, a better take on boundaries. And I actually learned this through the Gottman method. And it might also come from somewhere else, but that's where I learned about it. And there are sort of like 3 levels to dealing with somebody who you're feeling unmet or disrespected by. So level 1 is actually to make a request. Level 2 is to set a boundary. And level 3 is to present an ultimatum. So let's work through an example together. Let's say you are a white assumed mixed person and you have a friend who constantly makes fun of you or calls you white or says that you aren't Arab because you present so white. So making a request would look like, hey, it's really hurtful when you call me white. Would you mind actually not doing that? Would you mind referring to me in this way instead? So that's making a request. And then seeing if they meet that request. The next level, so you sort of like up the ante here, is to set a boundary. Hey, when you call me white, that's actually really hurtful, and I'm actually going to exit the conversation. I'm going to leave the room. I'm going to hang up the phone call if you do that again. And here's what's really important about boundaries in general. Pop psychology talks a lot about boundaries as what we expect other people to honor, but it's actually boundaries are about what we do in response to someone else's behavior. When you call me white, I'm going to hang up the phone, right? Do you see the difference between, I need you to stop calling me white and you need to respect my boundary versus when you call me white, I'm going to hang up the phone. And I think actually that can be really scary for us that we are in charge. And it's easier sometimes to put the onus on someone else to respect our boundary versus upholding it ourselves, especially if we are really longing, desperate for connection. We might hope that we don't have to make that choice. We don't have to act on our boundary, that somebody will just get it. But it's kind of like losing our agency in that there. So request, boundary, ultimatum would be, hey, you continue to call me white and it's hurtful for these reasons. And if this continues, I can no longer be friends with you. So the ultimatum is really putting on the table, hey, our relationship is on the table now. It's not just I have a boundary that I would like for you to respect. It's actually you have consistently disrespected my boundary and my request. And so I'm actually going to leave the relationship if this continues. So that might be a process that you need to build some skill around, whether there is anxiety that comes up around request, boundary, ultimatums, or whether you're just really not sure what to say. I work with people on this all the time, as it relates to mixed identity and not. I support clients dealing with all sorts of things in their lives. And I know I'm always hammering home the self-trust, but I really think it's so important. Do you trust yourself to move through this process? Do you feel like you have the capacity to navigate the emotions that come up? Do you feel like you can find the clarity? Do you trust yourself to find the clarity and to trust like, hey, it's actually okay that I have this request, this boundary, this ultimatum? So if this is something that you need help with, if you have a relationship where you're wondering, can I continue in this relationship? Should I continue in this relationship? If you're realizing, oh, actually, I haven't been honest with this person. I've just been feeling hurt, but I've never actually told them how what they say or do makes me feel. And I actually would like to potentially navigate this with them, and it might end up in some sort of conflict. Schedule a call with me and we can talk. We can talk about how we can really customize one-on-one coaching to focus on some of these issues for you, how you can deepen your relationship with yourself, find confidence, and build skills around these kind of things, and how you can prepare for the grief of what might happen in those relationships. Because that's so real. It's so real to feel so hurt and disrespected in relationships, and also not ready to confront the grief of maybe this isn't the right relationship for me anymore. So in my show notes, there's a link to my coaching page so that you can schedule a sales call. And I really look forward to talking with you about this and supporting you through this. You are not alone. I think all of us mixed folks, and really everyone in general, we've all been here. Like, should I stay friends with this person? Should I keep talking to my dad? You deserve support around this. You don't need to go through this alone. And I know it's such an isolating feeling. So reach out and let's talk.